Hi guys, my name is Sarah. I am a mindset mastery coach, transformational hypnotherapist, and attachment style specialist. In today's video, we are deciphering once again between the dismissive avoidant and the fearful avoidant. And I want to talk about how dismissive avoidants walk away and fearful avoidants will run in circles and what the difference is. So they both leave. Both types of avoidants will leave and typically be the ones to exit the relationship first. But one slams the door and never comes back while the other keeps checking if it's still open, even if it's stealth-like. So this is gonna be a nice, short, sweet video. Dive right in. All right. So I get it. You're heartbroken and you're confused as all get out. You've been left, you've been discarded. It feels like a discard. Suddenly, maybe everything was going really well and you had no idea that you had any issues inside of this relationship, and suddenly your partner's gone. Suddenly they've packed up. Maybe they just packed up when you were away. They left a letter, or maybe they said nothing. Maybe they just stopped returning your calls and went cold on you and ghosted you. That can definitely happen, even if it's been a long-term relationship, which is incredibly painful and invalidating for you as the partner. So you're likely confused and heartbroken and stuck on somebody who has left. But how they left says everything. It truly does. This is why I'm doing sort of a series on the differences between fearful avoidance and dismissive avoidance, because I've read comments saying, oh, they're the same. They're not the same, and they're not formed from the same pain. They're not formed from the same trauma. It's very different. Dismissive avoidance will make walking away look like it's easy for them. They can be stoic. They can be literally like stone. It's like you're dealing with a stone man or a stone woman. They will be unflinched, and they will literally have their mind made up, and nothing you say or do or anyone says or do is going to make them change their mind. They have decided that this is the best thing. You guys are incompatible, and that's it. End of story, wiping their hands. It's exactly what it feels like and what it looks like. But with fearful avoidance, they're going to circle around the pain. They're going to circle around their own pain. They're going to circle around the pain of the breakup and the truth of the breakup, and they're going to circle around you. I'm telling you, this is what they do. I'm a healing or recovering fearful avoidant, and I can tell you this is absolutely what I did. I made excuses to reach out to my husband, especially in the beginning stages, because I just wanted to maintain some sort of connection, and that felt safer than actually, staying. That felt safer than actually trying to have an emotional conversation. So dismissive avoidance will disconnect before the breakup even happens. So this is why it looks easy for them. They've already checked out mentally, emotionally, physically, and sexually. You will notice that if you look back in the history of the relationship, that all of those things likely stopped before the end of the relationship. The sex stopped, the intimacy stopped, the physicality stopped. You stopped feeling an emotional connection to them, the mental connection, everything faded. It was fading. And it's kind of like a slow death with a dismissive avoidant, if you really are honest with yourself and go back and look at the history of the relationship. So they've emotionally checked out. So when they leave, it feels cold, it feels final, it even feels robotic. I can't stress how it feels robotic. It feels like you're like I was in tears, just crying, pouring my heart out, trying to get him to want to reconcile. And he was just like, no, you're bargaining, stop. It was just like I wasn't dealing with a human being anymore. I was like, where is that person that I met at the beginning that was literally thought I was the best, literally thought I was a star in the sky? That person was gone. They had vanished. And I'm sure that you felt that too. And it's a sinking, devastating feeling. And maybe it's just from the ego, because our ego, we like to feel special and valued. We like to feel like we're desired. I felt the complete opposite of that at the end of this marriage. I felt like I don't even know who this person is. You are literally it felt almost soulless. This ability to just vacate, his soul vacated the body so he could make this decision is exactly what it felt like. So on the other hand, fearful avoidance, they'll leave while they're still attached. So that's why they'll check your social media, they'll send mixed signals, or they'll reach out just to disappear again. They're in internal conflict. They're internally conflicted. They miss you, they love you, they want to be with you, but it's terrifying. And they don't know if they can do it. And it's like they don't trust their own instincts. They don't trust themselves to not push and pull, to not push you away again. They don't trust love. They don't trust closeness. They don't trust intimacy. And they definitely don't trust routine. They don't trust Routine feels boring to an unhealed, fearful avoidant. I can't tell you how many clients are like, I want to break the cycle. I want to start dating healthy people. And I'm like, yeah, well, the first thing we need to do is get your nervous system to understand that uncertainty doesn't equal love. You know, like that, but those butterflies, when you don't know if you're going to hear from the person, that's not love. That's your nervous system attaching to something that feels familiar. And it's going to keep you stuck in the very same thing that you say that you don't want. So here's the difference in I'm going to give a one-liner difference. Dismissive say, I don't need this, right? Dismissive avoidant, I don't need this. A fearful avoidant say, I want this, but it just hurts too much. It's too confusing. Dismissive avoidants convince themselves they don't need this, they don't need you, they don't need to be in a relationship. They convince themselves, in fact, that they need to be alone, that they need to heal alone, they need to do this alone, this is their path to walk, they're a lone wolf, and that's it. Okay, and everyone knows a wolf can't survive or a lion can't survive on their own for very long, but they think that they can. And then they're going to get lonely and they're going to repeat the cycle all over again until they understand themselves. The fearful avoidance, like, I really want you, I really want this, but I don't know how to do this. It hurts too much. It's too scary for me. The shame, the fear, that all takes over in the fearful avoidance system. So understanding that emotional difference will really change how you heal. And the other thing is, if you're healing from an avoidant breakup and you don't know what their silence means, then I want you to understand that what's more important than what they're doing is what you're doing to heal from this. Because there's no guarantee that an avoidant, whether fearful or dismissive, is going to come back. The fearful avoidant is much more likely to come back. I just did a video on that. I'll link it below. But I do want to tell you that they don't always come back, especially if they're heavily leaning dismissive avoidant. And depending on what's going on for them, depending on, what happened and what transpired inside of the relationship. And if you were a dismissive avoidant and they're a fearful avoidant, then the chances are lower that they will come back. If you were secure or anxious, there's a much higher chance that the fearful avoidant will come back because it's going to feel safer. A dismissive avoidant doesn't create a safe environment for a fearful avoidant. I think a securely attached person could handle it pretty well, but even they, I think, would get fed up of this dismissive avoidance of, like I said, like the robotic, the stoicism, the ability to literally turn emotions off and not process them. So the partner feels like they are having to, like they're the only ones going through the pain or devastation of the breakup. Like I couldn't wrap my mind around, we're getting divorced and you're not even shedding a tear. Like he shed a tear about other things, but not about losing me. I didn't see him shed a tear about losing me. I saw him shed a tear about his son and about the impact that, the toxicity of the marriage was having on his son, but never a tear shed for me. The woman that he said, I've waited for you all my lifetimes. You're the love of my life. Like cried when he spoke his wedding vows. It was real. It was true, raw emotion. I know it. I saw it. He was way more emotional than I was. That's what was so conflicting and so confusing. But I understand now that this man was in inner conflict and turmoil, just like I was. And sometimes I think that maybe there's some fearful avoidance in there. Maybe he's just a fearful avoidant leaning heavily dismissive avoidant. I kind of feel that way. That means we were two fearful avoidants inside of a relationship. And let me tell you something, that is a recipe for hell. It's a recipe for absolute disaster. Because both people are in this situation where they're just trying to survive. And they want the closeness, they crave it, they've wanted it their whole life, but now they have it, they don't know what to do with it, so they destroy it. And ultimately, that's what avoidance do. Avoidance will, now, anxious ambivalence will also destroy a relationship. If you're anxious ambivalent, you're codependent, and you're just as much to blame for the demise of the relationship as the avoidant. It's just not talked about as much, but it needs to be, okay? If you're seeking out emotionally unavailable people, you're emotionally unavailable. That's something that took me like 10, 15 years to truly grasp and understand. Somebody first told me that, I think I was like 28, and I'm like, whatever. No, it's true. It's absolutely true. Because if you were emotionally available, you wouldn't be attracted to somebody who was emotionally unavailable. Because you would want the security of someone who's emotionally unavailable. They're going to meet you and your nervous system's going to meet them at that level of security. Our nervous systems choose our partners. We think we're consciously choosing them. We're not. Our nervous systems are choosing our partners. So keep that in mind and understand when you've decided, I'm ready, I'm healed. We heal to a certain point alone, and then we heal more inside of the context and confines and container of a relationship. So we can think that we're healed only to find out as we enter a relationship that we've actually got a ton of work to do on ourselves. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. Please drop a like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you'd like a personal session with me, you can book a free 15-minute discovery call. The link is below. And also, as I said, stay tuned for my upcoming courses, both online and live, as well as lots more stuff to come, guys. I'm so excited to be here with you in this healing process, this healing path. And, understand that I know what it's like. I feel it. I know what it's like. I know the pain. I also know the growth and the personal evolution. So take good care of yourselves, guys, and I will see you in the next one.